Coming back to gotta go win. Everybody know I'm about to go drop a big win. Kitchen dozen, I know I'm gonna attack, but I go out here, man. I'm on I attack, man. I saw through like a sniper. Hit him like I'm a viper, but I'm not a sniper. I bite her. What you doing right now? Cause you know I'm out here, man. I'm about to strike her. Oh, it might be helpful to turn the volume up in case I can't hear myself. Okay, yeah. So cool. We're cool. All right. What's up, guys? Chris and Ninja here. Welcome back to study session. So I have not taken the exam yet. I probably should have taken it today. I probably should have studied last night. But last night, y'all already know what happened. Last night, we were on that Minecraft grind. Today, we're on that ESET grind. Um, but anyway, welcome back to study sessions. I'm your host, Chris the Ninja, your humble guide, your humble guide through the confusing and beautiful world of electronics and engineering and electrical stuff. So um, today again, we're going over the exam two material, except this time, did it upload? Did it update? Oh, yes, it did. Okay, cool. Um, so we last left off last time working with active filters, and the reason I stopped is because I got too tired to continue. Like I was literally at the point where I was not functioning at full capacity. Um, but so we have active filters, and I'm going to put on higher order because higher order filters are a little bit confusing sometimes. You know, it's a little bit difficult to grasp it. Um, I wonder if y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can hear me. Hopefully you can. I can't tell because my audio is like because oh okay cool yeah y'all can hear me okay good excellent wonderful okay so filters at a higher order so last time you might remember we went over like first order filters and second order filters I believe um so that is this the Chebyshev and then there was also like the Butterworth stuff. So zooming in here, you have your transfer function. So, quick review from last time. A what's it called? A low pass filter when it comes to active filters is an all pole filter. For Butterworth and Chebyshev, you can tell that because there's no S in the numerator. An S in the numerator would mean that there's a zero and there's no zeros in the all pole filter. Um, A is the coefficient of whatever's given. So it's whatever coefficient is there. So like if it's like there's a table that you can put in there. Um, First order filters, second order, like they have different roll offs. Um, this is how you find the gain of a low pass Butterworth filter. This is the transfer of a second order Butterworth filter. If we were to make a fifth order Butterworth filter, you will have to divide the gain of the stages. You'll have to divide the gain of the stages into like separate the gain stages. Um, so if I wanted a gain of like 30, it'd be 10 times 10 times 10. Oh, that's not correct. That's not correct. See, I was too tired and I was writing too fast. It's not 10 times 10 times 10 because that would be like 1,000. That would be a gain of 1,000. It would be like 10 times be like 10 times 3 times 1. So that's how you get the gain. Like I said, I was a little too tired to like really put it all together, but now we're going into the free. Set a professional audio set. I don't need that right now. I mean, I guess I would eventually if I do this for a while, but so with higher order filters, what can I really say about higher order filters? That was just like a quick little overview review of what we did last time. Um, so what can I say about higher order filters? Higher order filters. This is a filters higher. I'm gonna say higher than a second order. And these would be filters that you cascade second order and first orders to make. You cascade all second order, or if you need an even number, so like even higher order, cascade second orders. Then I'll do in green odd higher order, cascade second order, last filter first order. Okay, so that's that's essentially what you need to know if you're going to be cascading these, which we will be. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. I will be checking back uh, semi-frequently. So if you have questions, just let me know. And if you're watching this as a replay to study for the exam because you also haven't taken it yet, drop a comment. I will answer in the comments. Yeah, so we went over the different types of filters. Um, I don't think we're I don't think we went over elliptical filters yet, so that probably won't be on the test. Um, but let's do a fourth order Butterworth. Well, actually, let's do a third order Butterworth example. So where's it gonna pop? Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So we want a third order low pass Butterworth filter. Um, let's say we want a gain of 8. We want a gain of 8. So we want a gain of 8. So we'll need two stages. We'll need two. So since it's a third order, 3 is bigger than 2. So we need two stages. We need a second order. And because 3 is an odd number, since 3 is an odd number, we will also need second order stage. And that's going to be multiplied by a first order stage. Now you really want to have gains that are like you want to try and have gains that are multiples of 2 wherever possible because it makes it really easy makes it really easy to use the same values for your higher order filters and stuff like that. But so like on the example we have on the example our professor gave us, he gave us a gain of 4, which means two stages with a gain of 2 each. So to write our transfer function for this, we start out with our h of s And that equals H1 multiplied by H2. And we need a second order filter equation, which comes out to be K B omega squared, the cutoff wavelength, um, S squared plus A omega C times S plus omega C squared. And then that's multiplied by K omega C over S plus omega C. So that's our equation. With the coefficients, so we're not being asked necessarily to solve this as a whole. We're asked to plug in the coefficients that we would have. So you can find the filter table. So Butterworth filter. Man, this is not the normalized filter design tables. Um, okay, let's see. Butterworth. So this is what, a third order filter? Yeah, third order. So this is weird to look at. Like this is really weird to look at. Um, might have to find this as an image. Q, oops, Q. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to look up the tables. Usually, they're given um, for an exam. Let's see, Butterworth filter, low pass filter. Um, okay, Okay, I think I found it. I don't know where this chart comes from, but this chart is an image from Chegg. Um, I guess in this instance, A is one. So well, in a second order filter, goodness gracious, this is like hard. It's hard to read this stuff sometimes. Because there's so many numbers you have to find. You have to find like the specific one. But for this one, with our gain of eight, so we would split it up with one having a gain of four multiplied by our b value, which is one, multiplied by omega c squared. That might be, we'll just say it's two pi. We'll say the frequency is one. We'll just say it's two pi. Um, Divided by s squared, and then that is added to um that 1.1414 value because this is a second order design. Second order um plus omega c s plus omega c squared. That's multiplied by 4 omega c divided by s plus omega c. So that's how we get to that. That's how the transfer function ends up coming out. Um, See, it's so fourth order. Let me see. One and two. I'm just double checking these to make sure these are correct. Yes. Okay. So if we were to make a fourth order Butterworth filter, let me scroll over this way. So let's say we want a fourth order Butterworth filter. So we want a fourth order Butterworth with a gain of, we'll say a gain of, we'll say a gain of six. Um, so the fourth order is consisted of two stages. There's two second order stages. Because because the stage one has no A values or B values for the filter to use, that's why the last one just had the coefficient for a second order stage. But this one has two coefficients you have to calculate for, or you have to account for. The transfer function is the same principle, but it has a different value to it. So you might have, well, not might, this is what you will end up having. So you will have, let's do this in this color. So you will have h of s equals h1 times h2. But in this instance, this equals KB omega C squared over, excuse me, S squared plus A1. You can do A1 or A2. They're getting multiplied. They're getting multiplied together, so it doesn't matter which one you really put first. Because if you multiply fractions, well, anytime actually you multiply anything together, it's a commutative property. As long as you use the proper values on on all the stages, the order does not matter. Um, the order I promise will not matter as long as you use the proper equations and coefficients for each of the stages. Um, so you have A1 times S omega C plus omega C squared, and then that is multiplied by the second stage, which is KB omega C squared over S squared plus A2, or you might say A0. It doesn't really matter. It's just whichever is the other one that you would have had in the equation. A2 times S omega C plus omega C squared. If this was a different function, you would have B2 as well, but in Butterworth filters, B is always one. So let me write that in a. So I'm just going to write this little note at the top. So in Butterworth filters, B equals one. Um, so that's something that you will probably like to take note of. Oh, okay. Well, posted something on LinkedIn and now people are looking at it. And it's stressful. Um, any questions so far? I don't think I have any questions because I think there's only one person here, but um, any questions, like I said, just drop them in the chat. So you might be asking me if you're like looking at this later on. Well, what the heck am I supposed to write down here for these equations? Because now the numbers are like the numbers are just there now. And let me grab my iPad charger real quick because my iPad's gonna die soon. Um, Stop it. Wait, you're away on my pad. Let me stop it. What? So stop all of this. I don't think I have the brick in here. That sounded so not right. Well, I'm gonna be honest. They making us turn in our when they make us turn in these iPads and stuff for school, like for the job that I work. If I can't find the original one, because like I have two that basically have the same charger. If I can't find the one that I like, if I can't find the second one, I'm giving them the only one I got. That's just what's gonna happen. I'm just keeping a buck with y'all because I'm not paying for another one for them. I'm paying if I'm paying for another one, I'm paying for another one for me. And where's my pen? Where did my pen go? Oh, it's right here. Cool. Rolled forward a little bit. Okay. But yeah, you might be asking me, like, Chris, how do you like what numbers do I use? Um, And that one refers back to the chart. So on our, let me go ahead and share the screen that I'm looking at. So I think you should be able to see it. Let's see. Give myself a second to catch up with everybody. Uh, oh, look, if you can end up seeing my screen, wow, look at the video down here in the bottom right corner. Why the Bengals should pay T. Higgins by Chris the Ninja. You should totally also watch that video. Anyway, so if you look here, I'm just glad y'all are able to see it. The values right here. Well, we have a fourth order filter. That's what we're working with right now. This is the A. This is the A values. A of I. A sub I. As you can see here, B sub I is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. All these are ones and zeros and stuff. Um, so we have our first stage. Where did it go? We have our first stage is 1 point, our A value for stage one, 1.8478. That's a normalized value. That does not change. Our B value, not our B value, our A2 value is 0.7654. So if I go back over here, put that on there. Um, so now when we make the transfer function, we know the game that we wanted to pick was 6, and that's given here. We know we wanted a gain of 6. So we know that K is going to have to be multiplied through on both parts of the transfer function. So that leaves us where we need to have um, a gain of 3 in the first stage because you want your biggest gain first. B in this instance is 1 or 0. There is no B. Omega C squared. We'll just assume that it's 2 pi again. Um, we'll just assume that omega C squared is 2 pi. Like however it just worked out, it's just 2 pi. Um, for sake of argument. We have our S squared value plus 1.8478 times omega C times S. I think it's times S. I'm almost certain it's times S. Yes. Yes. Then plus omega C squared. That's then multiplied by a second stage with a gain of 2 times omega C over S squared plus 0.7654 times S times omega C plus omega C squared, and that gives you the transfer function for our gain of 6, our filter with a gain of 6, and a cutoff, like in the proper cutoff frequency. For a Chebyshev, so that this is the Butterworth example. So let me just make a little box. That's so zoom out. You can see this the Butterworth model right here. This is the Butterworth. Right next to it, we're gonna do our Chebyshev. I'm gonna pick nice light blue for Chebyshev. Probably spelling this wrong, but I don't really care. So Chebyshev filter, Chebyshev. This is also an all pole filter. Um, you have your gain, like I was talking about last time in the other live stream. Your gain of this one is the gain or yeah, the gain over the square root of 1 plus epsilon squared Cn times omega over omega c, where the n is just the order. So that's how that's determined. Um, you'll want to know what the ripple in the passband is. Um, Chebyshev filters have a ripple effect to them. Um, the ripple width is 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. So for example, I did this one backwards last time. Um, so we're going to pick a different example and see if we can get something reasonable. So let's say I wanted a ripple of 2 dB. We want a 2 dB ripple. So we want ripple width 2 dB. Or 2 dB of ripple equals 2 dB. Well, we can put 2 dB here. That equals 20 log of what is it, 20 log of 1 over 1 plus epsilon squared. Now the reason we get this is because this is like a little calculus reminder for anyone who hasn't taken calculus or who hasn't had it in a while. The little calculus reminder, I'm gonna put this in some purple. Log base log base 10, because this is in base 10, so log 10 of 1 is 0 because 10 to the 0 is 1. That's how logarithms are the inverse of like raising something, like doing 10 to some power. Um, with this being true, and also a log that has something, a log that has like x minus y could also be written. Wait, no. Hold on. Yeah, log x minus y could also be written as the log of x minus. No, that's what they're divided. That's what they're divided. Minus the log of y. Um, but I think I gotta grab my calculator for this, double check it. Also, I'm not a human calculator. I can't do complex logs in my head. Um, let me just double check this real quick. So if I did like, if I did 1.3 minus, or if I did this value minus 1, that's what I should expect. So if I did log 20, log 10. Okay, yeah, yeah, that works. So then if I did, and then if I did this, like 1, oh, can't have a log of negative number. Huh. Okay. This is all speculation. This is speculation. I have to think for a second. This is speculation, okay? This is speculation. So don't take this as a mathematical fact because I'm not a mathematician. I'm an engineer, but this is how it makes sense in my head. So this is how I think about it so I can get the answer. If I were to logarithm both sides, if I were to do a logarithm of both sides, so if I were to do log and then log, I theoretically could pull the logs out independently and then have like wait, hold on, let me see. Log of 1. So essentially, what I'm thinking is happening is you split the log up. If I did a log of a log of 0.3. Oh wait, no, that's not right. Log of 0.7. Oops. No. 0 minus log 0.7. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So this might not be completely mathematically accurate, but the way that I picture it in my brain is that you have a log. When you log both sides, now you have a log of 1 minus a log of 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. This goes to 0. So all you're left with is this minus log right here. And that should have a negative sign, I believe, if I remember correctly. Um, yes. Hey, would you look at that? Yeah, boy, I hear deriving equations. I didn't even have to say Diffie Q. Hey, Tesla, Lockheed. You got a creative thinker on your hands. I mean, like, you can. It's just, okay, so the first thing that I did wrong last time was I tried to do inverse log first, which you can't do. Um, so you need to divide by 20. Yeah, so divide both sides by 20, get 1/10 dB. Oh my gosh, what the cheese happened? So you divide both sides by 20, minus 20, get a negative 1/10. Bro, is my one of my iPad pickles broken or something? No, it's not. Okay. Um, 1/10 dB. I made it need to change this tip. That might be the problem. So minus 110 dB equals log of 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. If we raise both to the 10th power, or do 10 to that power, so if I do 10 to the 1/10, I get 1.25, 1 over the square root. The log disappears and I get 1 over the square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. Um, I multiply across and multiply across and then flip it. So then I would end up having one square root of 1 plus epsilon squared equals 1 over 1.2589. So I got to square both sides of that. That equals like 0.6309. Um, subtract 1. Wait, hold up. 10 minus zero point 0.1. Oh, that's a no. 10 to the. Oh, it's the same. Okay. I wanted to make sure it's the same because it could very much make a difference. And I'm not trying to mix y'all up right here. So minus 1 gives you negative, or it gives you negative 0.369 epsilon squared. And then you just do absolute value of that. So yeah, it should have been added over. Should have been added over, I think. So that would have been minus 1. Oh, wait, hold up. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Just double checking my math. Okay, that checks. That checks, and then doing this squared. Okay, doing that squared, and then okay, yeah, math I think is starting to check out. Squared one plus that, then if I subtract the epsilon, actually, this might actually check out a little bit easier if I do it this way. If I subtract the epsilon squared, minus 6309, yeah. So one minus that, and then do so I think epsilon end up equaling like a 0.607. I think so. That's if I did my math right. I can double check it because if I go back to last night's thing that I did, let's see, where is it? 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 Is this it? What in the juice? One over 0.15. 10 to the point one. Nope, nope, hold up. 5 by minus 20, 10 to the x. Look at that. I don't know. I think it's right. I think it's right. I think a way to check it would be to just look it up. So see Chevy Chev, UDB. Chevy Chev filter ripple calculator. Man, I can't do all this stuff, bro. I don't have all the numbers for this. Ooh. what does it say here? Yeah, that checks out. Two megahertz, impedance like 2 ohms. I don't know. Basically, whatever you do, just follow these steps. Divide by minus 20, 10 to the x, do this, subtract one, and then square that, and that's your answer. I definitely was tired writing that. Definitely too tired writing that. You can tell my physical exhaustion by how bad the handwriting is. Because, like, geez, man, I don't know what I was trying to. I barely understand what I was trying to write there. This gives you the answer. And I can prove it with the example. Watch the example problem. If I do 0.5 dB, bro, what is going? No, I'm changing this. Nah, this is starting to get on my nerves. This is starting to get to the point where it's actually getting on my nerves. Like, you're good, Cyan. It's all good. No problems. This just studying for the test. Except my pen is getting on my nerves because I don't know if it's palm rejection is off or something, or I don't know what's going on, but it's almost like this is getting. I think it got worn out or something. Did it get worn out? Or- I don't know. We're gonna test this out and see if it works though, because it should work better now. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Okay, so to prove that the system that I had works, I'm gonna do 0.5 dB equals minus 20 log of 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared divided by 20. So zero point 0.5 divided by 20, that equals 0.025. That's negative log of that 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. And then if we do the inverse log of that, so raise that to the 10 power, gives us 0.94. So do 10 to the that, 10 to the that. That gives us 1 over square root of 1 plus epsilon squared equals 0.94. You do a little magic math and do 1 over 0.94. Oh, I gotta move this for y'all. Sorry. 1.94 equals square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. Um, 1 divided by this gives you 1.059. Then you're going to square that. So I'm square that. That gives you 1.122 equals 1 plus epsilon squared. You do that minus 1. Epsilon squared equals 0.122. And then you do square root of that. And that gives you epsilon equals 0.349, which is what you should have. So the method works. Trust me, the method works. I may have picked bad numbers. I may have picked a bad number for it, but the method works. I just proved it. The method works. The method works. Okay, so now that I've proven to myself that I'm not an idiot, because sometimes it just feels like that. Sometimes you feel a little goofy. Sometimes it just hits. You feel goofy, you make a small math mistake, and you try to square root a negative number, and then you end up in the fifth dimension, and then you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do. So there's different types of Chebyshev filters. Um, different types of Chebyshev filters. You have your Chebyshev type 1. Bro, what is going on with this? It's the screen. It has to be the screen. Where's Hold up. I gotta clean this off. I don't know what the cheese is going on. I don't know if it's because it's being charged or what. Cheese and iPad. Excuse my language, bro. Like, sorry, it's just getting a little frustrating over here. Gosh, I'm trying to write and I'm getting like choppy letters. Cool. Those are both continuous. I had to double check to make sure they're continuous because like it's like every third character I write is not getting picked up. Anyway, with that out, that like kind of irritating thing getting off my nerves now. Your Chevy Type 1. So with a second order filter, your transfer function looks like this. KB omega squared over S squared plus, I think that's alpha. I think it's alpha. Alpha omega CS plus omega C squared, plus B omega C squared times B. First order is H of S K B omega C over S plus B omega C. So that's the two orders with the first one. You want to pick the desired ripple width and select the coefficients based on the order. So as an example, we will pick a 1 dB. 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 1 I want a 1 dB third order. Uh, Chevy Chev Type 1. That transfer function. You pick your B value. Your B value can be found on a chart that should be provided because you can't. I mean, you can. It's just not. It's just not ideal to try. So Chevy Chef filter. Why is this all the capacitor inputs? I just want the A and B values. I don't want all the capacitor input. I don't care about the capacitor. When I need the capacitors, I'll use the capacitors. But right now I just need the numbers. Are these the numbers? Um, okay, Chevy Chev with a 5% ripple. So we want 1 dB, right? Oh, well, nope, that's Taylor's not going to work for us. Um, and 0 ohms. That's not going to work. I'm trying to find it because they make this stuff cheese and impossible to freaking find. Oh, and wonderful. I have to turn my head to the side to read this thing because everybody wants to pull their head to the side to read this stuff. Can't do it. Can't read that way. Yes, I know a glass just fell off my head. No, I do not care. Oh my gosh. Freaking hurts my eyes looking at that stuff. Where my glasses fall to? Because I don't know to read stuff. They fell off so hard. They fell off my head and bounced under the chair. Irritating, irritating my eyes, man. Because it's hard to read this stuff. It really is. Honestly, I was gonna try and tell you how to find that number. I'm done. I'm done trying to find the number because you gotta figure out how to like where to look for that stuff for like I guess months and years of your life trying to figure out where all this stuff is or buy a analog textbook might be $185 or something like that. I'm not. not shelling out $185 just to tell y'all how to do something that I learned in class. I'm gonna just give y'all the answer. So you have your K value, your B value. I think it's B. Isn't it B? Yeah, it is B. Your B value is like 0.99, 0.99, what is it, 994? Yeah, jeez, bro, my eyes are hurting. 994, I guess C squared over S squared plus 0.494 S omega C plus 0.994 S, no, 994 omega C squared. Then that's multiplied by the second order, or the second stage of it, which is K, 0.494171 omega C over S plus 494 omega C. That's the transfer function for third order filter with a 1 dB of ripple. If you find the table, let me know. If you don't find the table, hopefully they give it to you. Let's do some filter designing. Um, so you want your first order filters. So if you have like a first order filter, you'll have like a VN, get a resistor, capacitor that goes to ground. This positive input, negative input goes to R2 to ground, and then you'll have R3, your feedback resistor connected, and then you have V out. So your K value, if you're looking at a filter and you have to find the K value, like to make the equation, your K value is 1 plus RF for R3 over R2. That's because you have your feedback resistor. It's the same gain equation as an op amp. Non-inverting gain equation. By the way, any questions about this stuff? If you're anything that I'm not explaining well, just feel free to let me know. But yeah, non-inverting gain equation. To get V out over Vn, which is how you tell the gain, that would be K over R1 times C over S plus 1 over R1 C. The B omega C value is 1 over R1 C. You can find R1. Double check and make sure there's no questions. Okay, cool, no questions. You can double check R1. You can check R1 or find R1 by doing 1 over B times omega C times C. That's just a simple rewrite of the equation. R3 over R2 can just be K minus 1. That's just from the gain equation. Find that pretty easily. If you have minimum DC offset, you take R2, R3, R2 plus R3, and then throw that equal to R1. If K is greater than 1, so K greater than 1, R2 has to equal K over K minus 1 times R1, and then R3 is K times R1. So if you want to design one of these filters, the first thing you need to pick, you need to pick your standard capacitor value. So you need to know your cutoff frequency. So what is a cutoff frequency? Well, let's just say 76 hertz. Actually, let's say 7600. So our capacitor value is roughly estimated to be it's roughly estimated to be 10 over the frequency cutoff in microfarads. So if I did 10 divided by 7600, that would leave me with oh, in microfarads. So that would give me 0.0013 0.0013 microfarads. Um, you have to find the real capacitor value or a close enough capacitor value. So it might be like might be a 1 nano, might be a 1 nano capacitor. For the step two is find R1. So then 1 over B times 2 pi FC times C. Step three is find R2. K minus 1 times R1. Then 4 R3 equals K R1. So really the hard part is just finding R1. Oh, I am not showing y'all this. The hard part is just finding R1 from what's given, but you'll know. Like they'll tell you what filter you're trying to make. Um, this is an important note that I will write this in I'll write this in blue. Step 5, B equals 1 for uh first B equals 1 for first order filter and Butterworth filters. You'll have to use the tables for higher order. Shub 1, 2, Bessel, and elliptical. So that's the one caveat with these things here. Um, so if you see, so let's see. If you see a filter that looks like this, if you see a filter that looks like this is the first order gain of 1 because there's no feedback resistor to create a higher gain. It's just a gain of 1. So you just gotta pick C. That's the 10 over the cutoff frequency in pico or microfarads. And then R is 1 over B omega C. And then 3, B equals 1 for a standalone first order low pass. So let's do one of these examples just to kind of give y'all a little show on how to handle this stuff. Um, so let's say we want to gain a 4. It's first order low pass. Oh, my bad. Not that first order. Not this first order. I'm talking first order like this. Well, I'll draw it a little bit, but it's a first order filter, not to be confused with the first order from Star Wars. Fortunately, I think my artwork is bad enough to where Disney can't copyright claim me because I mean, like it looks nothing like a stormtrooper. I don't think, at least maybe it does. I don't know. Um, so getting our C value, let's say our cutoff frequency, so FC is 48,000 hertz or 48 kilohertz. So C equals 10 over 48 kilohertz. That gives us a value of about 200 peak 2 0 or 2.08 times 10 minus 10 picofarads. Our capacitor is about 200 picofarads. R1 is 1 over 2 pi times 48,000 times 200 10 to the minus 12. And then that gives us about 16.58 or 16.6 kilo ohms. I think the closest real value is a 16.5 that's made. Um, R2 is, oops, R2 is our gain of 4 divided by 4 minus 1, which gives us 4 over 3, multiplied by 16.5. That gives us about that gives us 22,000. R3 is 4 times 16.5 K. That gives us 66,000. But the closest thing we have is a 65.7 K. So when we make our circuit, am I really not showing y'all any of this? Goodness gracious. I'm terrible. I'm so sorry for y'all. I'm so sorry, y'all. Like I'm like I'm writing but not looking at the screen. So like I'm not always like able to tell y'all what's up. So Vn or not Vn equals that goes into a 16.5K resistor. We have a 200 puff capacitor. We have our R2, it's 22K. Let me draw this a little bit longer so I have a little bit more space to write. 22 kilo ohms. And then the feedback resistor, 65.7 kilo ohms. And then that's our filter. That's what our filter looks like. Then our transfer function for that filter will be K omega C over S plus omega C. So it would be like 4 times 2 pi 48K over S plus 2 pi 48K. It's like an S of like point 4.0000. I guess like an S of 4 would make the full. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's that filter. Let's see. Our second order filter design. I'm actually kind of glad I'm doing this because like I wouldn't want to try and figure this out as I'm taking the test. Since I couldn't really remember all of it. So second order filter. So second order filters. Our transfer function, to remind everybody, is KB omega C squared over S squared plus A omega C S plus omega C squared times B. And then it looks like, because it doesn't look like what the transfer function says, you have your resistor 1 goes to a capacitor. This is C2. This goes to R2. R2 goes to capacitor 1. That's grounded. This goes to R3. This goes to R4. Grounded, plus, minus. That goes there. P out. And this is part of the feedback loop, so that goes there. So that's the second order filter. So this is a second order filter. I know you can't read. I know y'all can't read that. I don't really like. I wasn't trying to write neat that time. Um. So if we have this is a voltage control voltage source. So BCVS. We can find B omega C squared. So B omega C squared can be found with 1 over R1, R2, C1, C2. So all those multiplied together can 1 over all those multiplied together can give you B omega squared. Um, A omega C is 1 over C2 times 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. That is added to 1 over R2 C1 times 1 minus K. Um, K is found. K is found 1 plus R4 over R3. Again, the same concept of non-inverting op amps gain equation. So the minimum DC offset. Sign, I hope you're ready for a second stream tonight. It's going to be a brand new game. R3, R4, R3 plus R4 is equal to R1 plus R2. So if you want to find C2, don't ask me why C2 is being found first, just is. C2 is approximately 10 over cutoff frequency like it was before in microfarads. C1 is less than or equal to a squared plus 4b k minus 1 times C2 all over 4 times b. Um, R1, geez. If you could see these equations, like if you're watching this back, there I think there's an easier way to do this, but the important part is like you got to know where this stuff comes from. You find R1 using 2 over, note how long the line is. That should tell you something. That should really tell you something. Bracket A times C2 plus the square root of bracket A squared plus 4b times k minus 1 in bracket C2 squared minus 4b times C1 C2. All of that close bracket multiplied by omega c. That equation is not something I want to write 1,000 times. All right. Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't want to write that 1,000 times. If I get hired and I get paid to write this 1,000 times, I still might I might reconsider my employment at whatever company I'm working at. That's just the fact of the matter. R2, not to be confused with R2D2. It's 1 over B times C1, C2 times R1 omega C squared. R3 equals K over K minus 1 times R1 plus R2. And then R4, our easiest one, is K times R1 plus R2. I know it's confusing. I know. But it's really just plug and chug. Plug and chug, and you get the answer. Um, so I mean, like we could do it, but I don't feel like writing all that stuff out. There's notes here. Look, here's what I'm gonna do for y'all. Let's see. Actually, I can't do that because that might infringe on copyright. Um, but here's what I will do though. If you want to work backwards and solve this, like kind of figure out where I get these numbers from. minus plus. I'll leave y'all with this. So work backwards and figure this thing out. Um, and I'll leave you with this. You should be able to figure it out from there. Cutoff frequency. Y'all should be able to figure it out from there. So pause, take a minute there, see if you can work it out. I just don't feel like doing it because my brain's starting to get a little tired. Um, but it works out pretty well. The much easier one to solve is the biquad filter. The second order biquad filter is very complicated to build and would be a lot more expensive than just building a regular filter, but this is just how it is what it is. There's always a trade-off in engineering. You can't ever just get away with you can never just get away with it. So you have R1 into there. Minus plus goes there. Zero and go there. Four. Four goes there. That goes into the capacitor. This is C. This is R2. Minus plus gets grounded. R4 goes into here. That's connected to another R4. Minus plus. Do that. And then that goes into, oh, there's a reason he drew it that way. Okay, there we go. That goes up here. That makes an R4. Also, this is a little tip for anybody who's going into electrical engineering or anything like that. The resistor is not just a squiggly line. There's a color code. They're little like round, they're rounded a lot of the time. They may not always look like resistors, but they're not little squiggly lines. I promise you that. I can promise you they won't. We'll never see a little squiggly line in real life as a resistor. It represents the wire being jumbled up to create a path of more resistance for current to flow through. That's something I didn't think needed to be said until I was told some people had never seen a real resistor until their senior year, and they thought it was going to be a little squiggly line. I kind of inherently knew that they were a symbol, but some symbols look exactly the same, like a calculator symbol looks a lot like a calculator a lot of the time. Okay, then that goes there. You have R3 here, and that connects back to there. Okay, so this is the biquad low pass filter. It looks horrible, like absolutely horrendous, but it's actually a little bit easier to solve because the equations end up being a little bit nicer. So for this filter, B omega squared is 1 over R3 R4 C squared. The C is the same. A omega C, instead of some horrible atrocious function, is just 1 over R2C. K is now R3 over R1. C is still roughly 10 over the frequency cutoff in microfarads. R4 is 1 over 2 pi FC. R1 is R4 over K times B. And R2 is R4 over A. And then R3 is R4 over B. So that's a lot more manageable in terms of functions and in solving stuff than whatever black magic spell this stuff is. This is black magic spells. This is like some Naruto jutsu casting or genjutsu or something like that. This here, this is like a recipe to make a cake. Flame bomb summoning jutsu, simple cake recipe. Now, flame bomb summoning jutsu would be a lot more useful in terms of combat. You're probably not going to want to fight with a cake. But I mean, if you can make a cake and make the cake work, I mean, make a cake. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying not to do too much work. But that's impossible with engineering. There's always work to be done. So you might be wondering to yourself, how does this all combine together? Well, for a Chevy Chev, if you were to have a third order, 0.5 dB, FC of 1,000 hertz, C2. Oh, and this is VCVS, the atrocious looking one. C2 is zero point 0.1 microfarad. C1 is also zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.01 microfarad. Gain equals 4, so this is going to be split into 2 and 2. You want stuff that has multiples of 4 or multiples of 2, because it just makes it easier. Because a lot of the parts end up actually a lot of the parts end up matching, and you can just use the same part for a lot of the same thing, or for different pieces of it, which makes things really, 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 really cheese and nice. So R1, this is going to be a doozy. I'm going to write the bottom of the equation first, because it's long. Pause. So yeah, 0.626, like stitch, that's multiplied by 10 to the minus 8. Right? Oh yeah, because multiplied by C2. um, Add that to square root of 0.626 squared plus 4 times 1.14, 1.142. Um, that all enclosed, that's multiplied by 10 to the minus 16th, because you have a C2 squared. Then minus 4 times 1.142 times 10 to the minus 16th. So you have all that, then multiply that whole thing by 2000 pi. And then all that 2 divides by it. So that big old equation. And then 2 divides by it. So R1 equals 25.4 kiloohms. R2 equals, again, 1.142 times 10 to the minus 8th times 10 to the minus 8th times 25.4 K times 2000 pi squared. And then you do 1 over that. So R2 ends up being 8.7 K. R3 equals R4 because the gains are the same. The gain of 2 makes it where it's a 1 over 1 because the gain is K equals R4 over R3 plus 1. We want a gain of 2. So that means this equals 1, which means R4 and R3 must be the same. Um, that's just for stage one. This is just all for stage one. For stage two, can y'all like see the sanity slipping away from the electrical engineers? Can you like see it like where it's like, oh, I'm so done with this. Like I really don't want to do it anymore, but I have to. Okay. Emotional breakdown all put aside. Stage two, we'll write that in purple so we don't get confused. Uh, C equals 0.01 microfarads. R1 equals 0.626 times 2000 pi times 10 to the minus eighth. 1 over that. That equals 25.4. R2 equals 2 over 1 times 25.4K because it's 2 minus 1. I just skipped the step, equals 50.8K. R3 equals 2 times 25.4K, which also equals 50.8K. Because this is a first order filter. The stage two is a first order filter. So then we get to draw this beautiful monstrosity of a circuit. Let me pick a beautiful color to draw this in so I can have half of my sanity returned to me as I draw it. Uh, let's pick. Oh, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Where's my Bengals orange? I want Bengals orange. This is Bengals orange. Bengals orange. Hold on, let me actually try to write this in cursive. So a nice fancy Bengals orange. That is not cursive at all. I really don't care. Here is our beautiful circuit. At the start of it, we have a gain, or we have our 25.4K resistor that gets broken into this 0.01 microfarad cap. This breaks into 8.7K ohms. That gets broken into a 0.01 micro. This goes here. This goes here. This is a 68.2. This is a 68.2 minus plus. Combine that. This goes here. This comes all the way around here. Now we attach that. Oh, y'all can't see it. Now we attach that to this 25.4K. That's attached to another point, a 0.01 Microfarad, that's grounded. This is grounded. This is grounded. Uh, this goes into another plus. This goes into a 50.8K, and then that goes to ground. This goes into a 50.8K minus, and then there we go. There's our circuit. I really hope there's not more than one of these on the exam. I really hope like if it's one of these like every part of it is a part of the question and then drawing it's like the final part of the question. I hope it's not more than one or two because this like y'all see how much went into this and I didn't even have to solve for anything. And then God forbid you have to do a fourth order where you had two second orders back to back with a different value because you have to find those B values for that. Let's see. So Butterworth. And so let's see, a second order. Yeah, so that I'm good. I'm good. I promise. I promise I'm good. I promise. uh please don't let there be another one after this, please. God, please. Okay, cool. Okay. The last thing, I promise. Look, I know it's been almost 2 hours, almost 2 hours straight of studying, but that's how you should be studying for your tests anyway. You should be studying a good amount of time. I learned that lesson the hard way when I got here to college. Study for your test now. All right. Cyan, promise me you're going to study for your test all the way until you graduate. Even if you're smart enough to pass the test without studying, learn how to learn how to study the right way. Get a 4.0 with all hundreds and not like a 97 guided. It'll make a difference in you. Anyway, last thing, I promise. This is the last part. So now we're moving into high pass filters. So high pass octave filters, dog, seventh grade. Hey, I'm telling you. Okay, this is like a little side note. Seventh grade is where it really all pops off. Seventh grade is your last chance to really slack off in anything in life. You can make the decision to slack off, and you'll regret it sometime in the future. Or if you buckle down a little bit more than normal, like just a fraction of a bit more than normal, you will set yourself up for a path of continuous and exponential growth for the rest of your schooling and life career choices. I didn't slack off per se, but I didn't put all of my effort into passing middle school and seventh grade and stuff like that. And I still had all A's because I was just gifted to be smart like that. But I still had trouble like pass. I had my first instance of trouble when I took algebra, and I actually ended up having the most improvement from my teacher. And it's because I went from like a B to an A. And it's not very typical that people improve in algebra at all. So my advice is to take every grade, every test, every homework assignment as seriously as you can and set yourself up for success. So if you want to go to A&M, MIT, Berkeley, USC, uh LACC or wherever you want to go to college, or if you want to go to college, if you want to go to trade school, if you want to get a good job or like and just like work for at right out of school, whatever you want to do, it starts now because when you get to eighth grade, that's when you have your first opportunity to take like basically a high school math course if you really if you've done well enough. When you get to ninth and 10th grade, you don't want to be stuck with the people who don't know how to do basic math stuff because you'll be set behind. You'll be learning algebra 2 as a senior. Like a senior in high school learning algebra 2. Like it's not a bad thing, but you could do so much more because you have so much potential now. You haven't wasted all your time yet. You have plenty of time to get up there and get ahead of everybody else out there. And I'm not saying you got to be taking calculus and BC and advanced statistical analysis. I'm not saying you got to be all the way up there. I mean, but like if you get to the point where you're in high school and you already have all your high school math credits and you don't want to take any more, don't take a math class. Take a period off. But it starts now. The grind starts now because whatever you decide to do today will affect what comes on in the next few years of your life. So make a good decision and really put your foot down and really buckle into making good study habits. I'm sorry that kind of got off like that got really off topic, but it's something that like I wish someone had sat down that I wish somebody had sat down and looked at me like, hey man, I've been there. Cause like my mom was supportive and she pushed me a lot. But my mom grew up for most of her life in Europe. Most of her life she grew up in Europe. My mom, technically, I'm a first generation American again. She's an English woman. I mean, by technical, she was born in England. But anyway, um, she's she had a more advanced thing like when she was in school and she was a perfectionist and I'm not a perfectionist. Like I'm very much not a perfectionist and I don't mind not being a perfectionist. By the way, it's a transfer function. I'm going to be like kind of talking in between writing this stuff, but transfer functions for first order of a high pass. Um, but yeah, she would push me and I would like kind of push back. And my grandparents, like, they grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in America. And any international viewers, if you don't know about the 40s, 50s, and 60s in America, these kind of people, we didn't have the newest technology all the time. We didn't always have the latest books and stuff. So they were smart, but they weren't as smart as they could have been because they didn't have the same opportunities. Um, so no one really understood where I was at, where I'm like, I'm in advanced courses and doing my best and well, doing kind of my best, but like I didn't have to put forth all the effort that everyone else had to all the time. And so it's something that I didn't really appreciate from them trying to push me because I felt like they didn't really get it because they weren't in my same boat. Now, if I have kids or whatever, if there's any younger viewers like Cyan watching this, yo, what's good, Crimson? What's good, man? If there's any younger viewers like Cyan that are watching this that are like sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I hope to just be, uh, I hope that y'all take my advice because real life will smack you in the teeth, and someone can warn you about it, or they could just sit back and let it happen. So anyway, back to this stuff. You got your first order transfer functions for a high pass filter. VI over VN, that equals K of S over S plus omega C over B. Now, you might notice this little S right here. This S right here lets you know that this is not a low pass filter. In a high pass filter, there's some zeros. There's some filters in high pass. There's some zeros in high pass filters, um, and that's important to note because if you're asked on the test or something like that, um, Crimson, that's another good point by Crimson. He said, take things slow if you don't get it. It's better to ease into something instead of rushing into it. That's also very true. Um, I know a lot of y'all who are not in college or taking electrical engineering, y'all might look at these study sessions and be like, dude, what is this? What is this magic that this man is writing? I eased into it. Y'all are getting the crash course. But the study streams are like to help for when you get to that point. You'll look back on this and be like, oh, I remember this. Or if you are interested in electrical engineering or electronics or whatever, you'll look back on this and be like, I remember he said this. Oh yeah, this is familiar to me. But it's kind of a crash course now. But anyway, um, good point, Crimson. That's a great point. But yeah, so high pass filters they have an S at the top. That means there's zeros on a high pass filter. That's a very quick and easy way to tell from a transfer function whether or not the filter you're working with is a low pass or a high pass filter. Um, at least in Butterworth and Chevy Chev. So second order filter, you have your H, V out, V in. That's K S squared, S squared plus A over B omega C times S plus omega C squared over B. All right. So that's a second order transfer function. A and B are normalized coefficients, as always. And they usually come from a chart. There's a chart that you can find. I haven't found it yet, but there is a chart. Um, if you remember back, I, I'm gonna keep saying it every time there's a filter problem, or anytime there's a capacitor, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it every single time until somebody gets it drilled in their head. Capacitor. Imagine a cap. You put a cap at the top of your head. So a cap at the top of a circuit is a high pass filter. You see a capacitor first, high pass. This is a high pass. That's a way to tell if it's a high pass just based off of the design. Cap at the top, high pass filter. That's a very easy way to remember these kinds of things. Um, so then just gonna do this R2, R3 plus minus this there. So this is this is what the first order thing looks like. Yep, you go straight in, you rush things. It's like falling from a high place and crashing into a lake or something like that. And there's not always a lake to catch you. A lake is the easy fall. There's not always a lake. Sometimes if you jump head first into something you don't know what you're doing, you'll crash and burn. Like you'll it'll be like hitting on cement. If you jump straight in, like if you've never done physics before, like you've like oh man, I got a story to tell y'all. I'll tell y'all after I finish writing this stuff down. Like at the end of the stream. Crimson, if you're still here, remind me if I almost forget. But I have a story about physics. So let's see. Geez, it's 5:30. Golly, man. Been working. So to find K of a filter, high pass filter, K equals well, V out over V. Well, K first. One plus R. Is that supposed to be R3? I think that's R3. Yeah. One plus R3 over R2 in invert or non-inverting op amp. V out over V in. That's KS over S plus 1 over R1C. I think that's a first order filter. Um, well, if you dive into the lake, like you part it with your hands, it's not as bad, but don't worry. I know about that. I know about that surface tension. Man, must be nice. It's almost time to go eat dinner or something like that. I probably won't even eat dinner today because I had a lot of food for breakfast. If you want to find omega C over B, you're gonna do 1 over R1 C. That same equation from the last one. Minimum DC offset. So let me see, min DC offset. R1 equals R2, R3 over R2 plus R3. C is 10 over FC. That's in microfarads. R1 equals B over omega C times C. R2 is KR1 over K minus 1. And then R3, the last one, I believe, KR1. Uh, I don't want to write this stuff down. I really don't. But I will because it's important for whoever needs. Oh, shoot. Jeez. I forgot about bandpass. I forgot about bandpass filters. Yep, I forgot about bandpass filters. Um, let's see. How can I? I'm teaching like 3 classes in the span of 2 hours. Um, okay. So speed run. Second order high pass. That's what it looks like. Time. No, I'm kidding. World record drawing of a high pass filter. Second order high pass. That looks like chicken scratch, but you should like this is a second order high pass. Let's see. Hey, okay. I see you, bro. I see you. Streaming Subnautica. I like that. I like that. I still got to go back and fight that dragon. I haven't forgotten. I've just been too afraid. Honesty. So you have your K value is 1 plus R4 over R3. Um, A omega C over B is 1 over R2 C. Oh, geez, I got a R2C times 1 minus K plus 2 over R1C. The minimum DC offset, it's the same R3, R4, so R1. Min DCO. R1 equals R3 over R times R4, R3 plus R4. I would do more examples, but like I don't want to waste, like I don't want to burn so much time. Um, for what is this? For designing it, R1. So design. Yeah, that looks like the word design, kind of. You have B over omega C squared R1. R3 is K R1 over K minus 1. That looks like a R, but that should be a K. You have R4 equals K R1, and then R2. Oh, wait, no, this is R2. R1 is a lot more complicated. I was wondering why R1 seems so simple. R1 is 4B over bracket A plus square root of A squared plus 8B K minus 1 close brackets omega C times C. That's times the capacitor, not times anything else. All right, let's see. Let's see. The biquad is a little bit different. The biquad looks like this. The biquad, I think, looks always like almost always looks the same. Um, so I'm just gonna say the biquad always looks the same. Biquad, but like it looks the same as the other one. So like I'm just it just does. Um, I don't really see a major difference. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Copy and paste it. I'm just trying to find my where I left off because I did something weird. Dog, please, please, sir, please, sir, please. I just want to put the biquad filter down. That's all I want to do. All I want is just to put the biquad filter down because I don't want to draw it a second time. Copy. There we go. Paste. Great. Excellent. Wonderful. Love it. Where where is it? Wait, where not where is it? Bro, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. There's one. Why did it not paste? Oh, hold up. There we go. It did paste. It did paste. Okay, yeah, we're chilling. We're good. We're good. I thought it didn't paste for a second. I was about to get a little frustrated. It's all good. All good. I'm going slightly insane as I do this little by little. The main difference between this biquad and the other biquad is that this one has a capacitor here. That's it. This has R5. Oh, and then 5. Then this R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R5. Okay, yeah, cool. So that's a biquad for the second order high pass filter. R1 is B over A K omega C times C. R2, oh, y'all can't see it. R2 is KR1. R3 is B over omega C times C. R4 equals what? R4 equals 1 over omega C times K. And then R5 1 over omega C times C. Oh man, goodness gracious, this is a lot to handle. This is a lot to handle. Like it's a lot. It really is. Um, Now we can get into bandpass filters, and then that should actually be it. So bandpass filters. So the thing about bandpass filters that you should remember is that FC is now F center, not cutoff. So you see a bandpass filter and you see FC, it's not cutoff frequency, it's F center. And you have quality factor Q. Um, the bandwidth is the so you have a bandwidth, and that's the frequency of the upper bound, frequency of the lower bound. That's the bandwidth. And a bandpass filter, if you don't remember, looks like this, where this would be like FL, this would be F upper, and then this would be like F center. Um, you can find Q. Q equals the center frequency divided by the bandwidth. And then a Q greater than 10 is narrow. Oops. There we go. So second order bandpass. It's almost over. It's almost over. It's almost over. It's almost over. I'm not going to do the high order bandpass, um, because once again, it's just multiplying transfer functions together. Um, yeah, I'm not going to do the higher order bandpass because it's just multiplying transfer functions together, like always. But I will show you how they look, and I will show you the transfer function for bandpass filter. So transfer function H equals V out over Vn. The reason I keep writing V out over Vn is in case you have a professor that likes to give you answers or questions like, if I give you V out over Vn, what is the transfer function? Well, that you just gave us the transfer function. That's literally what it is. Um, so yeah, if that were to happen, now you're prepared. Let's give us a nice little nice blue. So that one is K omega center S over S squared plus omega center over Q S plus omega center squared. That's the transfer function for a bandpass. Um, what it looks like in R1, you get C. Oops, need to put C over to the side so I can draw it. C. You get another C because you'll have a high pass and a low pass in series. R3, R2. Then you get the plus, minus. That goes to R4. That gets R4 as well. That goes there. This is now attached here. So that's the bandpass looks like as a certain the thing. This is a VCVS and a max Q of 10. You can find alpha. So like to make the transfer function a little bit easier, like when solving for it, you have a term alpha that's K over Q. Um, Beta is 1 over Q. Gamma, which is 1 for I think a first order, I think. C is 10 over F center in microfarads. R1 is 2 over Q omega center times C. R2 is 2 over negative beta plus square root of alpha minus beta squared plus, what is that? Plus 8 gamma times omega center times C. That's all under that box. Oops. I'm writing this stuff too close together. R3, 1 over gamma omega center squared times C squared times 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. R4 is just 2R3. Oh, my back. Dang, bro. If y'all were here, y'all would just hear like a bunch of cracking and popping from just all my joints. Years of sports, man, I tell you. It's not for the weak. It's really not for the weak. So your Q for the biquad. Um, where's the biquad? Double check and make sure that there's. Yep, that's the same thing. Bandpass for biquad bandpass. Biquad bandpass right here. Only difference, you don't have this down here. That's the only difference between a high pass and a. Oh wait, nope, not the only difference. Not the only difference. This is also a resistor. Resistor 4. That's also a resistor. That goes to ground. Um, Alpha equals K over Q. Beta equals 1 over Q. Gamma equals 1. R1 equals 1 over alpha omega center times C. R2 equals 1 over beta omega center times C. R3 equals 1 over gamma omega center times C. And R4 is just 1 over omega center times C. C, as always, is 10 over 10 over F center in microfarads. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For higher order filters, so I'm going to do this one in green. For higher order filters for bandpass, so let me move down a little bit. I promise it's getting closer to the last part. Uh, I promise. I promise it's getting close. Promise. A1 is just a coefficient holder, like placeholder. That's one over that's 1 over A times the square root of B plus 4Q squared plus square root of B plus 4 q squared 4q squared minus 2aq squared, all that square rooted, over 2. You could probably imagine why you wouldn't want to have to write that into an like you would probably imagine why you'd want that as like just a value. I'm just saying, man, like you would just want that as a given value. Um, B1 is 1/2 of A times A1 over Q plus the square root of Q times A over Q. That's squared minus 4. Cheese and cheese and crackers. So for H1, you have the gain of the first stage times omega center times the square root of B times S all over Q. And then that's over S squared plus B1 omega C over A1 times S plus, is that big B or that's big B? B squared omega C squared. And then H2 is K2 omega C square root B S over Q. S squared plus omega C A1 B1 S plus omega C squared over B1 squared. Put those two together, H1 times H2 equals H of S of a fourth order filter. Um, just a little cheat sheet for y'all to help out if you ever have to solve all this stuff. Omega C is omega C and FC center in this case. Um, omega L is lower, FL is lower, omega U is upper, FU is upper, omega C is the square root of omega lower times omega upper. FC is the square root of F lower times F upper. FL can be found using the center frequency times 1 over minus 2 Q plus the square root of 1 plus 1 over 4q squared. F upper can be found using F center times 1 over 2q plus 1 plus 1 over 2q plus square root of 1 plus 1 over 4q squared. Um, in high Q situations, so FL equals 1 minus 1 over 2Q. FC equals the center frequency minus bandwidth over 2. F upper is 1 plus 1 over 2Q FC, which equals F center plus bandwidth over 2. Cool. Bam. That's everything that you'll need for exam 2. Absolutely everything you'll need for exam 2. Do not wait until 11:42 or don't wait until 6 p.m. on Monday afternoon to start the exam and study for it. I cannot help you at that point. I can't help you at that point. All right. So you're cooked. You're cooked if you wait that long. It's over for you. But I've given you everything I can. I've done everything in my power to study for myself and also hopefully help y'all study. And I was gonna say something about physics. Oh, Crimson's gonna stream Subnautica tomorrow, so y'all should tune in because I'm not streaming tomorrow. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I might. I don't know. I can't make any promises. But the thing I was gonna say about physics. Okay, so if if you're done studying, dip out now. Like if you want to hear the story, you can stay. But if you're done studying with the stream and everything like that, now's your chance to go. Thanks for tuning in. I hope I was helpful for y'all. But the story. When I was in high school, I started in Virginia, and in Virginia they make us take earth science first. I don't know why they make us take earth science first, but we had to take earth science before we took chemistry, and then we had to take chemistry and then biology and then physics or something like that. But I moved to Texas, and Texas does it the other way. So you have to take biology, then chemistry, then physics, then you take a fourth elective 1 p.m. PST. All right, bet. I'll do my best to pop in if I remember. Oh wait, no. Tomorrow I'm gonna be busy. Wait, no, I might wait. I don't know. I might be busy. Wait, no. 3. Oh yes, I will. Um, I have to go meet with my capstone team at 2 p.m. But I'll come back and I'll watch over I'll do the replay. I'll watch the replay of it if there's a replay of it. Um, but yeah, so we had a I moved to Texas and we have to do things basically in the reverse order. So I go through. I'm in a freshman class of like kids taking biology. I'm a sophomore, and I'm like, I mean, it's cool. It's whatever. It doesn't bother me. Then I take chemistry, same group of kids. Then I'm a senior, and they're like, okay, so you need physics to graduate, and you also need another like technical requirement to get your engineering diploma. And I was like, wait. I got to take 2 of them. And they're like, yes. And I was like, oh. I'm so screwed, bro. I can't take both because I don't have enough time to take both. And I really wanted my engineering diploma. So I look at the catalog and I see physics C mechanics, physics C electromagnetism. And I was like, well, I need physics and it counts for both credits. That was the biggest mistake of my life because I had never taken physics before in my life. And I chose to do physics E and M. Yeah, the harder one of the two. I was in that class. I was so confused. I was asking like the dumbest question. I was like, Mr. Dean, or what was his name, Mr. Dean? I think it might have been Mr. Dean. I was like, Mr. Dean, uh, what is epsilon? He's like, it's a coefficient. But what is it? It's a coefficient. It's a number. It's just a number. But what is epsilon? And like I was asking like, what is mu? How do I use this? What is the equation? He's like, look at the book, read the book. The equation is in the book. I hadn't had enough. I hadn't taken any physics at all, so I had no clue what in the world was going on at all. I was so confused. I get to college, I take physics one, which is mechanics. Barely passed it because I had never taken mechanic physics before. I finally started understanding it when we got to like how acceleration, like how to derive uh, acceleration from position. But I was so lost for so much of that class because I just had never taken it before. I'd never taken any type of physics. When I got to E&M, E&M is just hard, but I was able to understand it a lot more because it was the second time I've seen the stuff, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. And also, my first ESET class was basically like reinforcing what I was learning about like capacitors and how they charge and all that, and charging constants and whatnot. But yeah, moral of the story is don't jump headfirst into something you know nothing about. Unless, of course, you're cracked at it naturally, but you don't know you're cracked at it until you jump into it. But yeah, that's the story. Anyway, I'm saying thank you guys so much for watching this video on the stream. If if you liked it, strike that like button like a ninja really would. And I'll see all you guys next time. Oh, subscribe today to join the Shinobi if you haven't subscribed. We on the road to 1K. We're already at 500. Thank you for 500. We're almost at 600. So just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. Um, but yeah, I'll see all you guys next time. All right, I'll see y'all later.